Hi, today we're talking about cultural relativism and if a culture can determine what makes an action right or what makes an action wrong. So let's start off with what cultural relativism is. Cultural relativism is an ethical theory that depends on cultural attitudes. If a culture disapproves of a person doing an action, then it is wrong. And if a culture approves of a person doing an action, then it's not wrong. So some of the implications that come with this are the majority view on any moral issue is always correct, while anyone outside of that view or anyone that criticizes the majority view or advocates for them are always wrong. So let's take a look at some of the arguments for and against cultural relativism. The main argument for cultural relativism is that we should be tolerant and accepting of all different cultures. But one of the problems with this reasoning is that no culture holds that we should tolerate and accept everything no matter what. And according to relativism, we should only accept and tolerate what our culture accepts. So the reasoning that we should be tolerant and accepting of all different cultures rejects relativism. So therefore, the argument for relativism is contradictory or contradicting relativism itself. So let's look at some of the arguments against cultural relativism. So the reasoning behind why we or some people might reject cultural relativism is because, of course, the main reason being that the majority view can be wrong. For example, if the majority view said that slavery is morally permissible, and of course we know now that, of course, it's not. But back then at the time, using this ethical theory, slavery would be more morally permissible. It would be seen as good, or I guess not wrong. That is a main argument against cultural relativism, is that the majority view can be wrong. So in conclusion, cultural relativists are correct in that sometimes we should be more tolerating and accepting of cultural differences. But just because a culture might approve of something does not mean it's okay. Like, it's just like how an individual might have thoughts or opinions on a situation or moral situation, and they could be wrong. So, sometimes the majority is wrong and sometimes the individual wrong. And we as people are not perfect, but we should still tolerate and accept different cultures.